side has objections, please direct them to the court.
Your Honor, I am now showing opposing counsel what is pre-marked as Exhibit 11.
So the law pathway is our way to kind of introduce students to all different areas of law. This includes being paralegals, attorneys, as well as police officers, really anything from the legal area that they might be interested in pursuing.
Our cases are based off of true events, and I think that's really interesting because it can go either way. It really can. It depends on how well your argument is structured and how well you present it.
And Doctor, do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty on what was the cause of James's injuries?
Yeah, after several years of experience, I have concluded incident was largely due to him having hypoglycemia. This tragedy is also compounded by the knowledge that all of this might have been avoided if his diabetic condition had been made known to others.
One of the things that the kids had recently been working on this year for our mock trial team is a case that actually involves a quadriplegic child who went away to a summer camp and suffered an injury.
We acknowledge the fact that a 15-year-old has been tragically injured.
What's great about these cases is that they're produced by the Illinois State Bar Association, so they come with full affidavits, exhibits, but what really sticks out the most to me about it is the fact that they tie them into real-life situations.
Your Honor, I would like to tender Dr. Drew Emerson as an expert witness in the field of emergency medicine.
Defense, any objection to tendering Dr. Emerson?
No, Your Honor.
The cool part about these trials, not only the experience of going over these trials and going against each other, but also interacting with other teams. We get the opportunity to go to real life places such as the Cook County Courthouse. Prior to COVID, we were able to go down to the state of Illinois, the U of I campus. So it's these different experiences which will eventually help me prepare for law school.
Honestly, this is the greatest thing that I've ever been able to be a part of throughout my time as a teacher, mostly because of the firsthand experience that students are getting. Throughout my time, we've had a number of connections with different attorneys from all over that the kids get the opportunity to not just talk to, but work with. And it's really meant a world to those kids to be able to kind of get that firsthand experience from people who treat them like professionals.
If you're up here, the judge is going to yell at you because he's going to be like, and another. You don't want to do that.
I wanted to be part of the law pathways because I like to give back to the community. I'm local here in Wheeling. I'm on the Wheeling Village Board here. My kids are going to go to Wheeling High School as well. And I just like the idea of having a program that gets young students interested and active in the law at an early age. One of the biggest goals that I like to see in the Pathways program is just to have the kids confident in their presentations, to get them to develop kind of a sense of confidence that allows them to speak, which is often a very difficult thing in public, and to think on their feet and to not be scared to object, to not be scared to maybe push a question a little farther than they thought that they could, and to get the answers that they want.
One thing on that, and then I'm going to go. All those questions, ask them leading.
Yeah.
You said, did you give you a map? Did you ever go over things? You didn't go over anything, did you? No. You didn't check with any of the counselors to see what this trip was all about? Did you? No. You had no idea what they were doing out there, did you? No, I did not.
And one thing I really love and appreciate is the time our attorney helpers come. So Joe, Diane, and Matt, they give up their free time to come help us, come give us tips and go over our material, and just general advice and kind of knowledge of what the legal profession holds and what we could expect. So it's cool that as a high schooler, we're able to experience and interact with real life attorneys.
He's dying to have the ball.
One of the tricks that I'll have the students use too for when they're preparing to kind of give answers and practice pacing is that there's a tennis ball trick that I picked up from Joseph Lehman, and he often has kids, practice throwing a little tennis ball back and forth to one another, so that way they can kind of use that as their signal as to when they're going to respond to a question or ask the next question, to leave some space in between so the kids don't kind of start running into one another and just make it all rapid fire that a jury would have a hard time understanding them. One of the obvious challenges that comes with this is that students often have to kind of take on a completely different role. Especially if you're playing a witness, you have to become another person. And a lot of times that's tricky because you might have somebody that becomes a doctor.
Dr. Lawrence, what is type 1 diabetes?
Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder that usually occurs in and is diagnosed in children or teens. What happens is that an infection or another trigger causes the body's immune system to attack the pancreatic cells, which produce insulin. Therefore, little to no insulin is produced by the host.
With that, if they're playing the role of the doctor, they typically have to learn technical information, and then they have to take the technical information they just managed to learn and then simplify it to make it so that way jury members could understand like a real true professional would have to do. It's also great because we have a number of our students who are just so wonderful at acting out their role and articulating the little nuances.
When and how did you learn that James Mercer has diabetes?
After the hike, when I went to visit the ER, I was shocked as James has not told anyone or included the information in his medical form.
I think what the students are really learning throughout a lot of this process are great life skills, as I mentioned, like how to communicate with one another, how to properly structure an argument, but I think they're also just learning straight professionalism by having to work with these attorneys that come into our classroom, and they kind of understand what the expectations are there for being able to present yourself well. Even understanding that it may not always come out on your side, especially in a courtroom case. There will be trials you win, there will be trials you lose, but it's a matter of what can you take out of those experiences to better yourself.
I think it's fun because not only do we get like feedback from our attorney advisors, but we also get to engage with other schools and we get to see what they've learned and we get to pick up their tricks and tips. It's just a fun environment where, yeah, it's competitive, but at times it can also be a way to find new friends from other schools and reach out and branch out to other places.
Oh, I'm definitely hopeful for pathways like this in the future here because I think, again, it gives the kids a great opportunity. There's not many things out there that provide these kids the chances to get such professionalism, explore areas they're interested in, and have kind of that feel before they enter into college of, you know, what is it that I want to do and what is this actually like?